Hello and welcome to another YSL short. In this episode we're going to have a look at how you can create yourself a little cart. You'll be able to choose from several different products, have a count of how many objects are in the cart, and go through to see the cart. Finally, you'll be able to send this lovely little list to someone in email format. To get us started, what we have is a little app, a gallery with some images and various products, a tick box, a counter, a cart. On another page, we have a gallery which is currently broken. It's going to hold our collections, as well as a HTML text object, as well as a couple of little buttons. In terms of existing connections, we have a connection currently going to a product one, which is an Excel table in Dropbox, which contains a list of images. We have a connection to a SQL server, which has all of our products, although you can use the Excel file down below to do the same thing. And we have a connection to Office 365 Outlook for the email part of this. To get started, what I want to do is when my user ticks this checkbox, collect whatever it is they're using. So I'm going to go over to my options, scroll to on check, and I'm going to tell it that I would like to collect. So I'll add into a little collection. Imagine this as a little temporary table. I'm going to say this is my shopping cart. From here, I would like to collect this entire item. So that's going to contain all of the different columns inside of here. Close your bracket. If they want to remove the item, i.e. they uncheck it, nice and easy, on uncheck. What would I like to do? I would like to remove from my little table that I've created, collection shopping cart, and I would like to remove again this item. So whichever row they're clicked on. To add in my little counter, I'm going to tell it not to display the 0, but I want to count the rows that are inside of my shopping cart. The sneaky little thing that you want to do that's slightly more unclear is we're also going to set the default value of our tick box. The default value is going to check if this item is currently in my collection. If it is, tick this box. If it's not, don't tick it. If this item, ignoring my horrible use of case there, is in my collection shopping cart, then have the box set to true, which is ticked. Otherwise, set it to false. Speaking of the next page, let's go to our little shopping cart icon, and we're going to set that to navigate to the next page. If you want to do a fancy transition, you can, of course, inside of navigate, do comma, and you can choose whatever transition you want. Let's go ahead and tick a couple of these. Our counter should now be keeping track of how many we have, before finally clicking on the cart. Remember, you can do this by holding the Alt key, or if you want to, you can actually preview the app. It's entirely up to you which way round you'd like to do it. Because my previous collection, when I set up this template, was called Collection Shopping Cart, these are pre-populated. There's nothing particularly fancy behind this. It's just a standard gallery with a little X button. So clicking this button, on select, we're going to remove from our collection shopping cart this item. If we give that a run, if I now click on this, it should be removed, which it is. This little button here, my sheet icon, I'm going to set that so I can return to the previous page. So I want to navigate, and we want to go back to our product options. Hold Alt, click on that, and you'll see the counter has updated. If we hadn't set the default on our checkbox, then this wouldn't be updating to remove the tick. The trickiest part of this process then is actually setting up the table in a way that we can use for sending it as an email. To create this object, I have inserted a text box, specifically an HTML text box. From here, I've written a very simple bit of HTML. H3 is your header, so that's this shopping cart bit. Strong is to give it in bold, so that's our products. We've then got some formatting, which you can play around with to make it however you want it to be. And the all-important table tag. We've then got the settings for our headers, and I'm going to concatenate all of my header names together. So product name, animal, and production cost. Then we have the individual rows, and that's what we have inside of our TR. Inside of this row, what I would like to do is concatenate a value from my collection shopping cart. And these rows are going to be each of my items. So the product name for the current row, animal name, and production cost. Make sure that these match up to the headers that you've put previously. You can find this code below, so feel free to copy and paste it and tweak it to your needs. A big thank you goes to Ryan Maclean for providing this HTML code, as well as creating a fantastic blog, which you can find in the link below. If you want to learn more about HTML, I'd recommend checking out W3 Schools. It's a fantastic website for free learning. For the email part, you could do it in two different ways. One way you could do it is creating an action using Power Automate. However, rather than doing that, I'm simply going to add the connector Office 365. This then lets me call the Office 365 app to send an email. In the grand tradition of Blue Peter, here's one I created earlier. Office 365 Outlook send email. Put in the email address you want to send it to, preferably not mine, please don't spam me. The name of the email that we want to pass in, and then most importantly, the text. If you didn't want to create this preview item, you could have just put all the code that we created for the HTML text inside of here instead of putting in object name HTML text. Or set this object to not visible, so that way you can still use it, but without actually needing to have it visible to your user. Let's give it a go. If I clear out my list, obviously you could empty everything if you wanted to. Tick a couple of my products, navigate through, have a look at the data just to preview, make sure I've got everything correct, click on email, and there we have it. A nice little email telling me all about the products that I've selected. I hope you find this Wise Owl short useful. Do let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next.